The last thing to talk about with cell membranes is the specialized function of the cell membrane called transmembrane potential. Transmembrane potentials are also known as just membrane potentials, and these potentials have the potential to do work, and this is due to ion separation across the cell membrane. So it turns out there's a charge or voltage difference between the inside and the outside of a cell. So if you look in the picture here, we'll say the top is extracellular, so outside the cell, and this would be intracellular, inside the cell. And if you notice, I have 5 positive ions outside the cell and 1 positive ion inside the cell. So hopefully you agree that there's a voltage difference between the inside and the outside of that cell. The ions carry charge, and so this charge or voltage difference between the inside and the outside is caused by ion separation. Because there's a difference in the charge between the inside and the outside of the cell membrane, we say that cell membranes are polarized. There's that word polar again. Cell membranes are polarized at rest. Right? Polar like a battery, polar like the Earth. It's going to be positive on one side, negative-ish on the other. So most of the cells in your body maintain a transmembrane potential, but this is really important for muscle cells and neurons. There are different types of transmembrane potentials. One type is a resting membrane potential, and that's the transmembrane potential of a cell at rest. Cells are said to be polarized at rest, right, so that polar state exists at rest. The average resting membrane potential is about negative 70 millivolts. The resting membrane potential is produced, for the most part, by the sodium-potassium exchange pumps. So transmembrane potentials can change, or else they'd be really boring, and I wouldn't be talking about them at all. Right? An ion channel can open, and ions can follow their gradient into or out of the cell, and then we're not going to be negative 70 anymore. We're going to change. Here I'm letting positive ions in, so I might go to negative 65. Positive ions came in, so I became more positive. Negative 65 is a more positive number than negative 70. Changes in transmembrane potential occur in response to a particular stimulus. Something has to open that ion channel, and this is where our gated ion channels come into play. Some sort of movement or a chemical or a voltage will open the gated ion channel. So transmembrane potentials can change by becoming either more or less positive. A depolarization is when the transmembrane potential becomes more positive. If we start at negative 70, can you give me a number for the transmembrane potential that indicates a depolarization? So we want a number that's more positive than negative 70. Negative 69 would work, right? Negative 60 would work. Negative 5 would work. 0 would work. Positive 5 would work. All of those are numbers that are more positive than negative 70. A hyperpolarization is a transmembrane potential that's become more negative, or you could say it's become less positive. So again, if we start at negative 70, can you give me a number for the transmembrane potential that indicates a hyperpolarization? So if you start at negative 70 and you hyperpolarize, that means you have to become more negative. So what's a number that's more negative than negative 70? Maybe you said negative 80. That would work. Changes in transmembrane potential lead to other changes that are important to physiology. They lead to muscle contraction and your heart beating and your nerve impulses. So these transmembrane potentials are really important.